So welcome back, guys, to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, the potential rematch. Now, as always, guys, these are just pretty much my subjective views in regards to where I believe certain fights should go or how I felt the fight went, etc., etc. But in regards to the potential rematch between the pair, I'm hearing quite a lot of things in regards to this fight not happening. Now, a lot of the experts are stating that the fight is definitely not going to happen on February the 22nd, which is the suggested date. And this is potentially because, um, well, what I'm hearing is that AJ has got a few injuries which have now come to light. But I don't believe that is the case. I believe that there's probably some psychological issues going on deep down from after the fight which he sustained, the beating, I should say, what he sustained with Daniel Dubois. Now, he won what, 30 seconds max of the whole fight, and the fight went 5 rounds, and he got battered every single round and got dropped multiple times. Now, the psychological issues of sustaining a beating like that is going to be massive and like enormous to try and overcome, especially within the space of what, 6 months, to try and then rematch the guy that done that to you. So I don't believe it's an injury which is stopping him from getting back in the ring. I do believe it's more psychologically in his head, and he needs to get his head sorted in order to come back a better and stronger, or potentially have a better chance of winning the rematch. So for that case, if it's more of a psychological issue rather than injuries, which they said, then I'm happy with that. But if it's a case where you know what I mean, they're maybe sitting on the fence because they want to wait and see what happens between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury in December, and then hopefully, if, as they're saying, if Usyk wins again and Tyson loses, then hopefully they can make the bigger fight between Tyson and AJ, which will sell out Wembley instantaneously, and both guys would make a career highest payday, because that's the biggest fight, that's the best fight that everyone wants to see in boxing. So yeah, it's a bit messy, but I'm just coming from my experience. Now, if someone beat me in a fight, I want to go back in for the rematch, especially if it's a fair fight, and it was a fair fight. Do you know what I mean? Both guys trained for it. They're both motivated and confident prior to the fight, and you know what I mean. One fighter got absolutely demolished, and the other one was happy with how the fight went. So you know what I mean. If it's me, I'm thinking, okay, I need to go back in there. I need to see, especially if you believe that you're better than that person as well who beat you. In your head, you're thinking, okay, I know I could beat that guy. I know I could beat that guy. So you want to go back in for the rematch. But with AJ, it could be the case that he's probably lost that confidence now, because it took him a few fights from after those two Alexander Usyk defeats to regain that confidence. He fought Jermaine Franklin, he fought Otto Wardlin, Ngannou, etc., etc. Even Hellenius he fought. You know what I mean? He had 4 fights before he actually fought Danny Dubois, just to regain that confidence and have that self-belief. So, you know what I mean? He hasn't got that time on his hands now to rebuild. So it's a case that, do you want to throw all your eggs in one basket and go for that rematch? And you know what I mean, most people are saying that he's going to lose again, or is it a case that you want to hold fire and then maybe go for the bigger fight, which will be against Tyson Fury, where you're going to be earning a career high payday? Yeah, it's messy, but I think from my point of view, I believe that for that fight with Tyson to go ahead, Tyson has to lose against Usyk. If Usyk, well, sorry, if Tyson wins, I can't see him wanting to fight AJ. Why is he gonna give him the opportunity? Why? Yes, there's money on the line, but and he may consider it as an easy payday and an easy victory, but why? Why? Like, he hasn't. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to give AJ the limelight. He wants to be seen as the best heavyweight in Britain. And yeah, it's controversial depending on who you speak to. Some people will say AJ, you know what I mean? Not now, obviously, but back in the days, some people say AJ, and some people say Tyson. It's like that Messi and Ronaldo sort of debate sort of thing. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I just think for that fight with AJ and Tyson to happen, Tyson has to lose. Um, but AJ shouldn't be sitting down and waiting for that. If it's psychological issues, maybe he has to probably speak to a counsellor or a sports psychologist to try and get his head right. Because he has the ability, he has all the skills to put on a better performance. I'm not saying that he could beat Daniel Dubois. He can, but yeah, certainly his best chance is to put on a better performance. And if he goes in there and performs, he's got a chance. But the way he turned up against Daniel Dubois in the first fight, he looked like a man who just stepped out of the pub and thought, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get in the ring with Daniel Dubois and fight," and he absolutely got destroyed. But yeah, that's where we are in terms of the rematch. I'm pretty much sitting on the fence now in terms of where the experts are going. Really, I do believe that the experts are probably right because in the boxing game, these people talk. Things get spread around. So I do believe that this fight's not going to happen. I do believe Daniel Dubois is potentially going to go in there with a few names. Obviously, Parker deserves his shot for what he did this year and last year. You got Caballero, who's on a tremendous run as well. And maybe people like Zhang or Bacoli, but they're like the harder fights. Or potentially, does he want like a more of an easier defense? Because he could pick anyone out of that top 15. And Frank Warren's got quite a few fighters signed under his banner at this moment in time. So could he potentially fight someone like a Moses Atuma, who is more of a novice heavyweight, but could cause some trouble? Or does he want to fight someone like a Fabio Wardley? And we saw how raw he is because what he did with Fraser Clark. So there's a few fights there for Daniel Dubois. The ball's in his court, but they are stating that he will fight 100% on the 22nd of February next year. Whereas Hearn's saying that AJ's got injuries and he's not going to make that date. But what could happen is those fights that I did mention, the Parkers, the Caballeros, the Zhang, the Bacoli, they're all banana split fights for Daniel Dubois, and he could easily lose. But then would AJ consider that rematch with Daniel Dubois if he hasn't got a title? It's a good question. But anyway, guys, you guys let me know your thoughts in regards to this. What do you guys want to see happen? Do you want to see AJ go for the rematch? Or are you happy just to let him sit down, wait and buy his time and see what happens in December? And if it isn't the rematch for Daniel Dubois, who would you like him to take on next in terms of his second defense of his title? But yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe and comment, and then stay blessed.